I'm going to begin this presentation on the basis of three assumptions. The first assumption is that there has been a good amount of a conversation with respect to adoption of the colleges, adoption of these type of universities between the Secretary of Education, Secretary of Home, along with our Chief Mentor K. Siddhartha sir in this case, and we are extending the entire of this conversation through a presentation, largely because there may have been certain type of gaps that have been left between me and between the concept and between the officials, and we can go to bridge this gap. The second is subsequent to this discussion, there was a conversation and there was some exchange of mail that took place between Ensemble, between this concept and that of the Department of Higher Education Maharashtra, and there were certain things that were left ununderstood. We are out to fill this gap as well. The third is, while the process was going on, there had been some telephonic conversation that took place between our CEO, Sri Nalin Chandra, and that of the Department of Higher Education Maharashtra, and they asked to explain certain points, certain concepts, and that also goes on to form the base for this type of a presentation. Now, having assumed all of these three aspects, our presentation will essentially go on to revolve around explaining what exactly is career security and what exactly goes on to form the underlying aspects of career security, what the concept is, how is it that we are going to be taking this concept forward, what will be the requirements that will be met through us, what will be the requirement that has to be met through the Department of Higher Education or the concerned colleges and the universities, and how is it that we can go on to synergize in what manner, so that we can go on to make a case for it, and this can go on to become one of these most important disruptive concepts ever taken in Maharashtra. At the outset, I'll go on to begin by painting a picture of India's education system, in the sense that is, we do going to be having a lot of colleges and a lot of universities, but if you go on to take a look at it, the data that is on your screen, that goes on to show almost everything conceivable with respect to India's education system, and as you go on to take a look at the screen, you will go on to find that this goes on to show the state of Indian education, and that is also not qualitatively, that is only quantitatively. If we start talking about qualitative aspects, then the whole thing will go on to become even worse than what exactly it is. So to begin with, we have about 1,000 odd universities in India. Of course, not to talk about some odd 34,000, 35,000 colleges that we're going to be having. And what exactly is it that we're going to do in these colleges? The students who wish to make their career, they go on to come to these colleges, spend their 3 years of time initially in this case, and in these 3 years of time they go on to get a degree, the value of which is not going to be seen or not going to be observed, not going to be actually valued in a lot of places. The students do not go on to add to their skill, the students do not go on to add it to their overall personality, the students don't go on to tend to increase their curiosity level, the students don't go on to learn a different type of a pedagogy, and even learning, they don't go on to improve their learning environments as well. So all in all, it goes on to be a lose-lose situation for the students. From a perspective of a college, the college is inclined to teach them history, geography, economy, and any one of them. Now, all of those things that are going to be taught to them, that doesn't go on to benefit the students in any manner possible at all. And because it doesn't go on to benefit them, the college is going to be at a losing end, because they go on to lose their branding in this case. The college does go on to administer these things, but to administer something that is largely going to be unproductive, that doesn't go on to bear fruits either for the college or the society or the economy, or even the Prime Minister's new vision of converting India's demographic dividend into something enormously good and to take India towards a 5 trillion economy. it is likely to end into a demographic disaster if we do not going to understand the situation right now. That is going to be the state of education, and of course the data on your screen goes on to show that part too. I'm not going to be reading it out, but this is something that one can always go to read it and understand it, what exactly is the situation. In some places, there have been some type of innovations like that of a distant education program has been an innovation, distant learning has been there, a lot of online learning has come up, MOOCA has come up, massive online learning program has come up, but they also going to leave a lot of things to be desired. Because as part of MOOCA, it was the initiative that the government took with respect to Swayam, where a student can go on to understand these things themselves, that has not picked up, that has not kicked up as well, both of them. I'm going to use both of these terms. That has not picked up and that has not kicked up as well. And that's largely because the quality of the teaching and the quality of the lecture, the quality of delivery of the lessons, the quality of interaction, and the quality of the video in this case, the quality of presentation, everything leaves a lot to be desired in this case. And we do going to be having a good number of institutions that are going to be globally acknowledgeable, but we understand it that people who go on to do management, people who go on to do engineering, they are worth nothing other than just having a degree in this case, and for themselves. Leave apart IIMs, leave apart some of them like Jawaharlal Nehru University or Delhi University, despite all the controversy that is going to be associated with them. And at the same time, all of those type of reforms that we happen to be talking about, these reforms are not also geared towards a direction that will go on to make students think out of the box, because most of the things are going to be still thinking inside the box, and they are going to be completely almost inside it. And with this type of a situation, it really goes into become very difficult to transform this education. And we go on to be emphasizing on this transformation largely because we are out to transform this education. The professional culture that we are going to be bringing it, that is going to be ostensibly associated with transforming this type of education. We'll go on to first begin by talking about what is the situation that is going to be existing at the college level in the country. We're going to pick it in one of them. For example, during graduation, the college goes on to offer no security of the career, no prospect to any student. It doesn't go to develop them with any amount of a skill. The students do go on to come to the college, and the students who come to the college, they go on to be using this college for the purpose of merrymaking. Imagine the three most important formative years that the students go on to be having with themselves, that goes into indiscipline, that goes into merrymaking, that goes into squandering any type of an opportunity that comes to them. Only few of them are able to utilize it. They don't go to develop a leadership skill in this case, largely because they're going to come out of these type of institutions thinking that whatever that they have learned is sufficient to give them a career. This is even more fatal, largely because if a person who knows nothing, he understands that they know everything, then that there can't be anything more fatal than that. Now think of it, engineering degrees don't go on to be holding anything good for the prospect of the economy, prospect for the country also. All the education institutions strive to create students who can be developed into a very good skillful resource, but is it that they are able to do it with the degree? That is, of course, they don't go on to do it so. Then there are going to be quality of students that is going to be leaving a lot to be desired, largely because they are muggers. Now most of these muggers, they're going to be masquerading themselves as a student. What they do is, the modus operandi in this case is, that is, college is used for fun, class is going to be used for networking, class is going to be used for the purpose of rendezvous. And you can understand what is the one type of rendezvous that we are talking about. A rendezvous not with the teacher and the student. A rendezvous not between knowledge and skill. Rendezvous not between information and knowledge. Rendezvous is not between a concept and its analysis. The rendezvous is something else, and you are much better equipped to understand this part. So that is why we're going to be talking about that they are masquerading themselves as a student. Moreover, as these students going to become insecure, as they start looking for it, and they don't go to accept it, that is going to be a different type of a student altogether. And when we are going to be talking about that, these insecure students, they are always going to be taken for a ride by some people who go on to be thinking themselves as teachers, but they are actually traders who masquerade as as a teacher, who masquerade as a guru, who masquerade as a trainer, and then most of these things of students and the parents of the students are spent on tuition centers, coaching institutes. All of these scenarios led to a war, and this type of a war is going to be fatal for the country, largely because it is this war that goes on to lead India to a next level of economy. And in this next level of economy, without any type of a skill, imagine how difficult it will go on to become for India, which is eyeing for a 5 trillion economy, and it goes on to end up only with something like a 1 trillion economy of sorts in this case. Now, most of these colleges which go on to be existing, they go on to be facing certain type of problems. That is the problem with the college education is, we have talked about it before also, one of them is that the colleges are intended to be giving degree. They don't go to infuse knowledge. Students are not taught how to logic out certain things. Now, when we go on to be talking in a reformist manner, that's one of these aspects that we'll go on to talk about. That is how is it that one can go to infuse knowledge into the students and the process of logicking out certain things. The pedagogy that is going to be adopted by the college, university or any institutions that goes on to kill the curiosity level, because students tend to think that is they just go on to manage some type of notes, let's say some 10 or 12 topics of sorts, and it is these 10 or 12 topics that they go on to manage that will go on to help them get a degree at least, and that is going to be enough for them. There are going to be a good number of perceptual distortions because the students are going to take a decision on the basis of their perception rather than on a reality, and this perceptions, as it goes on to creep up, that starts manifesting itself, reflecting itself on the internet economy, on the surveillance economy, on the search economy. Moreover, these students hardly have got any type of eagerness to read text, and they go on to end up reading only certain type of notes, certain type of study materials, certain type of materials from the internet, and this internet doesn't go on to be accountable to anyone at all anywhere in the world. It has never been accountable. It will not be accountable also. And of course, students don't go on to learn how to read newspapers, how to analyze news, how to differentiate between wrong and right, how to differentiate between what exactly is eagerness and what exactly is something that has to be forced to imbibe. They may go on to be short on facts, but then the process of gathering facts is also lacking in them. Consequently, these are the problems that has helped us to understand what all that we can go on to do to solve this problem, to get over these problems, because we do go on to think that these problems are not insurmountable, and because they are not insurmountable, we have devised a way. And what we seek to create in this case is, one of them is going to be, we are seeking to create a career security centers in the college, a complete security of career to the student. Now, this career security will go on to mean that the students who are going to be part of us while they are obtaining their degree, we're going to provide them with an additional skill. With the help of this skill, they will never go on to see a failure in their life. Even if it is that there are going to be certain type of shocks that they are going to take place in life, this shock will go on to help them understand that this is a temporary deviation in the path of their career that they have to take. Not exactly that this goes on to block them, and they cannot go on to have a suicidal tendency, and they will not also go on to have a depression. They will also not go on to undergo through a depression phase as well. We are also going to be helping the students get the best career that is which they are capable of obtaining on the basis of their attitude, on the basis of their strength, on the basis of their weaknesses. And we want to make the students enjoy the studies as well, and any type of skill that we going to think or suggest to the students that they can go to imbibe. And also, we are going to be entrusting the students, guiding the students with the type of a career for which they are most capable of it. Now, someone may go on to think that students are smart enough these days to pick up a career. We don't go to subscribe to this view at all. Largely because anyone who goes on to be having an information, if they go on to think that they are knowledgeable, that is not good. Anyone who is knowledgeable, they go on to think that they are going to be wise, also is not good. Anyone who goes on to think that they can go on to make an opinion and a judgment, and they can go on to force it, that also is not going to be wisdom in this case at all. that is the basic problem with the students is that they think that most of the things that they are thinking is going to be in a correct direction, and that is where their problem lies. We are going to be talking about entrusting the students with the career with the help of a mentor. It is a mentor that is going to be that understands which is the best career suited to any person, because the eyes of a mentor are going to be completely different from eyes of a parent. Parents may go on to love their child, but they may not go on to be able to mentor them. Parents may go on to have a deep affection with the students, with their children, but they may not go on to have this ability to transform this affection into enlarging their career or improving their skills or even improving their attitude, because they go on to see this happening every day and they cannot go on to be objective in this sense as well. We are also going to be talking about creation of a very value-loaded social milieu through which college, universities, and all of those children which are in college and universities, they are able to utilize their potential themselves. That means they go on to get themselves empowered enough in this manner. And this is a program that is definitely going to be for non-science students more, because science students may go on to think about having a career, but non-science students will find it very, very difficult to have this type of a career. So going by all these issues that the education system is facing, the students are facing, the college will be facing, we have devised this program of the complete transformation of the colleges and to brand them. The main components and the main points in this case happen to be: first is adoption of these colleges, improve the branding of the college, improve the quality of the college, improve the quality of teaching of it, as well as improve the quality of students, to improve the competitive atmosphere within the college. Largely because once you go to see that there is one group of students who are very, very aware, who read newspapers, who are abreast on almost every topic that is happening, that is surrounding them, who happen to know international affairs, who happen to know national affairs, who are able to analyze the topic in a very objective manner. This, of course, will go to spur up another group of students who are in college and help them come to that level. So that will be a very good, healthy, competitive atmosphere that the college will go to offer. Not only that, once one college goes into acquire it, once college goes into adopt it, it will go on to also infuse another healthy atmosphere. Other colleges may go on to acquire it and they will start improving their standards. Otherwise, the anomaly between both of them will keep on increasing that way. We are also going to be talking about, of course, providing a secure career to the students, providing a secure branding to the college, and providing a security in every possible manner in that region. And that security is going to be with the help of a complete synchronization of the college curriculum with our curriculum, improving the results of the colleges, improving the academic environment within it, largely because we will be taking care of all of those students who will go on to better the university results. For example, assuming that we go into picking up a Nagpur college, and if it goes on to be part of Nagpur University, we're going to make it certain that the students of Nagpur college will go on to become head and shoulders above all of them, even in terms of their degree. Not only in terms of the skill that they have imbibed, even in terms of their degree. But that is going to be one of these aspects. The most unique part is if the Department of Higher Education thinks it so, we can go on to help them make this college and entire of the premises completely self-reliant, in the sense that they will be able to generate their own energy, they'll be able to have their own fee. It may require some degree of policy intervention or some type of an out-of-box thinking, but one out-of-box thinking in one way will go on to change, it will go on to become a catalyst for all of these other centers also to follow. That is about what are the advantages colleges can go on to have it. And what exactly is it that this career security program will go on to mean? Now, when we're going to be talking about these are the colleges within which we're going to apply it, then one of them is, of course, taking complete accountability and responsibility of the career of the students who are going to be enrolled with us. And when we are going to be talking about taking a complete accountability and responsibility of them, that goes on to mean that we'll go on to pick up these students, we'll go on to give them multifaceted careers, 17 careers all in all, in which we're going to guide them, whether it goes into be in a competitive environment, whether it goes into be an academic environment, whether it goes into be a skill-based environment, so that in 3 years of time while they go on to do their graduation, we'll make it sure that they don't go to squander the advantage that the youthful people going to have with respect to their fertility of mind, and they're going to use it to their advantage. That is, we try to do it by giving them a certain degree of an exposure from almost every angle possible. Will be their mentors, will be their guide, will be their teachers, will be their trainers, and we are also going to be providing them with almost every new type of technology and technique for helping them study, helping them learn. We are going to be improving the learning environment in this case. And this we are going to be doing it by the help of improving their foundation, building a super strong foundation. And why is it that we're going to emphasize on building a super strong foundation? This is largely because of one single reason. And that reason is it is this super strong foundation that will go on to help them pick up any 16, 17 different type of careers and skills, and that will going to include being a salesman as well, to being a civil servant as well, to being a constable and being an IPS officers as well, and also to be in academics, high level academics, as well as a very generalized job of being a journalist as well. We are also going to be helping the students minimize their efforts, because students generally tend to maximize their efforts, and they are able to maximize their efforts largely because they don't know the direction in which they have to study, they don't know the direction in which they have to prepare, and because they don't know, they keep on rocking at the same place, like a wooden horse equipment or a toy keeps them rocking. They think that they keep on doing effort, but they don't go to move forward at all, and they don't go to take any direction. We have a best quality of teachers in this case, teachers who have been trained, teachers who have been retrained, and teachers, all of them who have been completely reformed, so that they can go on to take advantage of it. We are also going to be talking about stirring of the imaginative system of the students, so that they don't only go to imagine, they imagine in a manner which will go on to ease their effort, ease their studies, ease their learning, and ease the manner in which they can go on to convey these things to the people as well, and more specifically to all of those people with whom they are going to be concerned with. We are going to be having a specially designed and customized curriculum for all of them, and we will be creating a reality-based atmosphere within them, so that they don't go to build any type of perception, and they will not be a part of an internet economy insofar as in as much as it is concerned that most of the people who are on internet, they are always going to be talking about only one aspect, that is rumors, and in general parlance it is going to be called as WhatsApp University, because every type of information goes into abound on WhatsApp. And because this type of information abounds on WhatsApp, it is always sometimes going to be fatal. It is this fatality that is what we try to stop, because if we are not going to stop this fatality, then the demographic dividend that we are going to have is going to be turning into demographic disaster, and there will be no time taken for us to become a demographic disaster, and the whole world will be looking for it. Think of it. China will be so happy. Think of it. Pakistan will be so happy. And the only people who will not be happy will be those who see that India has a potential, and will be ourselves to blame if we are not able to exhibit to them, if we are not able to reflect on them, and if we are not able to convince them that we actually can go on to be a demographic reward in this case. We are providing them with a study material beyond which nothing is going to be required. We are going to be providing with a type of a technology for study beyond which nothing is going to be required as well. So this is one way in which we will go on to be taking them ahead. And what exactly are the careers that we are going to be offering? Now, you just take a look at it, all the type of careers. We are going to be talking about almost all the type of careers that Indian youth may go on to require. For example, a total of 17 careers ranging from civil services to even constables is on offer. And it is going to be about all government services through service selection board, banking services, and self-employment. On entrepreneurship development, you will going to find there is entrepreneurship development, retail job training, that is going to be through a private entrepreneurship. We're going to be having a tie-up in Australia, through which we're going to be offering this part. and very high class school teachers who will go on to be laying the foundation for the future children of India. They are also going to be part of it, not to speak of judicial services, civil services. Will go on to create academicians of world repute, and we have a reputation of creating academicians of world repute. We are also going to be talking about international business leader, media professionals of a very, very high stature. Those media professionals who can never be bought, because we have developed a pedagogy in this case whereby they will be surrounding themselves with a type of a branding that is honesty will be their greatest treasure. Honesty will be their greatest jewelry in this case. These are the type of people who will be infused in this aspect. And if they can't go to become anything, we can make it sure that they're going to become political leaders, at least a member of legislative assembly or member of parliament as well. We know what exactly is the type of potential that this type of job goes on to hold, and how is it that they can be made better. So why is it that such type of a concept is required in the country? This type of a concept is required in the country largely because, let's accept this fact, our primary education system has failed. Our secondary education system has failed. Even the type of education system that we're going to be having it in the country, most of this convent education system, they are imitative in nature rather than being original in nature. And why are we going to say it imitation? Because everything in them is imitative. The dress is imitative, the language is imitative, the curriculum is imitative in this case, the attitude is imitative in this case, the lifestyle is imitative in this case. Now, how is it that one can go to think a student who has imitated throughout his entire life from the Western countries will go on to become original in any manner possible? Then we are going to be talking about a completely eroded base for our institutions or our education system, which goes on to get itself reflected in the lopsided scientific development of the communities, lopsided social sciences development of the communities, and a lopsided also development of the student psyche, which goes on to show itself off and on in various spheres and various times and in various ways. We are going to be also talking about the course content and the strategy of it, because such type of a course content and strategy has never been thought of. And because that has never been thought of, the situation as it exists right now is under such type of course content and strategy that we are going to be offering, that is going to be very, very systematized. The curriculum is made in such a manner that the student is gradually able to build up upon its weaknesses. The student is able to fill up the gaps in the education system that has crept in. The student is able to identify his or her weaknesses in this case, and that is the way that they are going to be moving it forward. And that is why exactly that this course goes on to become very, very, very different from any type of a course that has been so far offered in the whole of the country. And that is going to be only through the use of a very distinctive and different type of a pedagogy. And this pedagogy goes on to bank on identifying the talent of the students, identifying the attitude of the students, identifying their strengths, identifying their weaknesses, not only by us, by helping the students themselves also to be identified. And we may not go to think that this is the right phase for it, but it is distinctly possible that we will be in a position to utilize it, use it, and take it forward also. This program, we have picked it up on a pilot basis in different places in the country, and we have picked it up in a girls specific program. Now, the reason for picking up girls a specific program in such a manner has been largely because of the different qualities with which the girls are endowed with, and the Almighty has given them certain type of benefits over the boys. And of course, we can always go to say sorry to the male population in this region, but we can't go to help it. Girls are always going to be much more stronger than that of the boys. Second is that in our type of society, where a lot of concepts requires to be weaved between different aspects. Girls are in a better position to weave these different concepts that go on to link society with development, with environment, with growth, with values. Boys are not exactly in a position, not because they don't want to. There will be some boys who will be able to do it so, but girls are always going to be in a better position. This is a very good way to empower the girls as well. Imagine the image of those type of girls who were moving on bicycles in Bihar, and that went on to transform the entire economy of Bihar till it was squandered by a lot of political hoopla surrounding Mr. Nitish Kumar's CM's candidature and his political fight that went on to ensue with BJP and so on and so forth. You people know it much better than what I go on to know in this case. The girls are much more likely to give an assured return to the parents in comparison to the boys. Girls have been always loyal to the parents, and we don't need to take example of boys who have left their parents, who have allowed their parents to die. You will not going to find too many examples of girls who have allowed the same thing to happen to their parents. Girls are always going to be diffusing this type of a situation, values and other things in the society much more better, and girls are better administrative officers. If you're going to bring them into administration, bring them into any work, you will going to find that they are much better. Sincerity is their hallmark, and they may not go on to be so talented as some of their male counterparts, but they are able to tide over a lot of their talent deficiency, their intelligence, with the help of the sincerities and the values that they go to have. Girls are also not going to be too prone to being corrupt also. One can go to find so many type of corruption charges around the male population. Girls will be there. Maybe, everyone can go on to be one or the other manner. But it is generally a bit difficult to allow girls to be corrupt in the whole case. And of course, girls go on to fall from 50% of our population. Imagine if we are able to equip these girls in a manner whereby we are in a very good position to utilize their skills, utilize their values. What will happen to an economy like that of India? Do we think that a 5 trillion economy is going to be so far up? The answer is of course not so. Largely because we will be able to equip these people to generate jobs in themselves. We will actually go on to take them towards gig economy. And these are the type of people, girls particularly, who will also go on to give a very distinctive experience to the people who are going to be utilizing their services. So they will go on to become part of experiential economy, existential economy and gig economy, and that's what government thinks of. Government has laid out a policy that they want to enter into this type of economy. But we are going to be talking about not policy, we are going to be talking about how exactly that we can go on to make it happen. The concept, since its inception, has been picked up as a pilot project in some of these colleges. There have been 3 colleges in Bihar where it has been picked it up, and we are at different stages of negotiation and engagements with Chandigarh University, Udaipur University, Gujarat, Oro University, Ramanujan College. We had a workshop in this place. We have had a workshop in Ramjas College also in this place, and there are going to be a good number of offers coming to us from different colleges of Delhi University for the purpose of organizing this workshop, so that at least students get to understand what exactly is the nature of this concept. So, having discussed about it, we're going to let you know why is it that we are best suited for that. There are certain things that happen to our strength. One of them is that we have a panel of world repute. You go on to pick up a who's who of the bureaucracy and the academic world. They are part of it. That's one part. We have very high academic credentials in this case, in the sense that is, we have got endorsements from vice chancellors, we have got endorsement from even film actors, and not to speak of our bureaucracy at all. Past results of civil services whereby we have produced no less than 1,553 IAS officers and IRS and IPS officers also. We have our chief mentor who has an experience of 20 years of training these type of people. And we're going to be having a pool of trainers drawn from the whole of the country who will go on to be very instrumental in this case. We have a technology platform that is going to be as good as any type of a technology platform anywhere in the country. And we are also constantly upgrading our study material, in a sense that is the study material is becoming better and still better. And we are managing into a unit to make it an institution. It's not going to be anything like a tuition center at all. Ensemble is best suited in this case largely because it is only with Ensemble that the program is going to be identified with. There is no other institution in the whole of the country which goes on to be running this type of program like that of Ensemble. Consequently, we are in a transition phase. leaving one program of coaching and moving another program of a completely mentoring based services. So we have been in this sphere for the last 20 years or so, more than 25 years of a time, and in that period of a time we have produced 42 books, some best guides that are going to be known throughout the world. They are the best sellers. Even if you go on to forget about being its selling abilities, the academic credentials for this book and the recommendations of it are going to be very, very high as well. And at the same time, we have produced no less than some 1,553 civil servants in this case. That has been our main focus, and that has been our main USP as well. We have a core team of teachers who go on to be going to all these colleges and universities and institutions as well, and of course they are going to be tied to us. We are the one who have produced students who are almost in all the coaching institutes in the whole of the country. Take any coaching institute anywhere in the country and you will go on to find at least 2 or 3 hours of our students going to be being as a teacher in that place. And we are the one who are going to be providing with so many of these components to make ourselves still better, to make ourselves still relevant right now. And that is going to be, we are going to be talking about study material that is going to be out of the world, then a gripping and enriching class lecture that is going to be in both ways. That is going to be offline as well as online. We are going to be having a very test to test the capabilities of the candidates, and online and digital support once the students are going to be out of the class. There are going to be specific mentoring class, and of course not to speak about the life experiences that we are going to be providing to the candidates by help of different type of dignitaries and by our panel. And you can go to take a look at this panel. This is an August group ranging from Shri B.P. Singh, who has been former Home Secretary, World Bank Chief and Governor of Sikkim, Padma Shri Prakash Singh, N.K. Singh, you will going to recall he was the one who arrested Mrs. Gandhi. Vohra Sahab, he has been DGP of Tripura. Professor M.P. Singh, Air Marshal Inamdar, who has been member of UPSC. You can go to find all of those people in our YouTube channel. And not to speak of it, there have been 2 distinguished bureaucrats from your state as well, and that has been Mago Sahab, who has been the Chief Secretary of Maharashtra at one point of time, and Shri Amitabh Rajan, who have been the former Home Secretary as well. You may have known about Mr. Vinit Ohari, who is the former Director of CBDT, and one of those entrepreneurs, Mr. Vikas Mittasen, who is the head of Nazare.com. Now these are the type of people who have been blessing us, who have been part of the panel, and who do go on to heed to our request of giving us a lecture or be with us or guiding us during a certain amount of a time, and so on and so forth. And we have an August group of students as well, ranging from, we shouldn't go on to be mincing our words with the education secretary who happens to be there. He has been a student of Sir. If he doesn't go on to mind that picking up his name, we can always go on to delete that as well. But that has been there, and you can go on to pick it up all of those people who have been from the bureaucracy. Nand Kumar, Poojan Rana, we have Kusum, she has been an additional commissioner of income tax in Mumbai some time back as well. Gopal Meena, who is a labor commissioner, and so on. We cannot go on to take all of these names, that's not possible. Apart from bureaucracy, there have been some students in bureaucracy. For example, Rakesh Singh, R.K. Singh, he is one of these pioneers in his research on human genomics, like no one else. He is one of these 4 people in the whole of the world who has been doing certain type of research. And then we're going to pick up some of those people who have been in corporate services, including Mr. Praveen Bansal, Mansi Shukla. It has been Hani Makhani, who has been in a model and actor based in Mumbai itself. We can go on to make you meet any one of them at any point of a time also. There have been good number of students in politics that includes Pankaj Vidyarthi, who has been Bharat Swaviman Andolan, Rahul Ram Yadav, then Aditi Kumar, she has been from RJD in Bihar, Samir Swarup, who is fighting, he has started preparing himself for the next elections from now onwards in Patna. And then we are going to be talking about people who are going to be in journalism. That goes on into Dr. Brajen Narayan, who happens to be from All India Radio and whatnot. This is a list that is going to be endless. We are picking up only some of these type of people. Now, how is it that we are able to create all of it? Is going to be through certain type of a pedagogy. Now, this pedagogy is going to be very, very simple. One is That is, for any student, our pedagogy goes on to remain simply out of the world. For every student who goes on to be coming to the class and who is part of the class, the pedagogy that is going to be offered is, of course, first is the class lecture, the ambience of the lecture, the content of the lecture, the people who are behind this lecture, the language that they're going to use this in this lecture, and that's largely because we understand that teachers go on to become better, and still better with time. It's like a wine. That is, the older they're going to become, the better they're going to become. We do not going to follow and fall on this idea that youngsters who can going to put an arm around someone's neck, they are the one who are better off in this case. That is number one. Second is, of course, to back up the class, we do going to be providing a good amount of study material to that. Study material goes on to include everything that one can go on to think of. And what we are going to be talking about is the study material is rich enough, that is beyond that nothing is going to be required. And when I go to say nothing, there's actually nothing that is going to be required in this case at all. Then the third part is, once the students go on to go back, then we start providing them with the type of a support that no one can go on to think of. The moment they're going to go back, they go on to be getting everything on their mobile in the form of a video lesson. They're going to be getting instruction of what they have to do in the next class. They do going to be getting all the type of questions that they can go on to answer in the next class. They do going to be getting all the type of queries and the links on YouTube which they require to go through, or which they can going to utilize in a variety of ways. We are going to be talking about the management of the students, the personality development of the students, and we are going to be allowing every student to manage this own affairs, manage the whole of the program. The students themselves will be teachers, they themselves will be students, themselves will be managers, and they will go to manage almost each and every aspect of it, so much so that it is going to be completely student-based program. It is going to be on the lines of Indian School of Business, that is Hyderabad, and of course different other universities have also going to imbibe it. Now, having talked about all of it, there are two ways in which the model can be executed in Maharashtra. One of this model is going to be, of course, we're going to adopt a college. Now, whichever way that you're going to suggest it, we are going to be adopting that college, and we will go on to train some teachers of the college who are capable of being trained, but most of the teachers will go to providing it from our own side. That is one. We'll go on to pick up a class. We'll go on to acclimatize that class as per our needs. We'll go on to ask you specifically with the question of making this class completely in tune with our needs and our requirements in this case. And once we have been able to do it so, we will go on to start picking up the students, guiding these students, talking to these students, testing these students, categorization, more importantly, categorization of these students in such a manner and with such a mechanism that these students are able to pick up those type of careers that actually goes on to suit them. We are going to be talking about one of these models that the college can go on to pick it up, and the college will go on to gain a lot. For example, from a perspective, from 1 hour of the perspective, the students, the college will be able to gain a brand for itself in the whole of the country. The students in academic and intellectual ability will go to improve in this place. The students will start securing a greater amount of confidence in this case. The inflow of the students towards this college will go on to become qualitatively better in this case. The implementation of the concept and the exposure of the candidates will go on to spur up some real quality teaching in them, and other departments will start following that as well. Ensemble will go on to keep on calling panels, help them interact with it. We'll go on to ask this department as well, education department also to do the same thing. How is it that they can go on to do it? And the net result will go on to show up in 2 years of this initiative that we will go on to pick it up. And almost everything, curriculum will be revolutionary. We'll go on to pick up the college, adopt it, and if the department wants, what we can also go to do is that we can go to make it completely self-reliant. There is not even a single paisa is going to be spent by the college in this case at all. Of course, this is a different type of a chapter, and we are going to be open to this discussion. The general roadmap for the general roadmap that we have carved out in this case is we are talking about these are the phases, stages 1, 2, 3, 4. As you can go to see from the table, the components are going to be, one of these is audition to all college students in situ, right at that place. The very basic purpose is awareness generation. Why is it going to be, what exactly is it that we're going to require? We'll require the college auditorium, and we're going to require it for the purpose of publicizing this whole of the event in this case. And of course, will require a very well coordinated effort in this case. Then pick up the second case, organize a test for all the college students. We're going to assess these students. The requirement for us will be, that is, the college will have to facilitate us in taking that type of a test. The third stage in this case will be planning a calendar with the college, taking into account its examinations and other aspects, so that there is no conflict of timing with the college at all. In this case, we'll go to form even a coordination committee with the help of a college. We'll go to involve some type of teachers training here as well, and we'll go to also define certain type of protocols which are going to be for different type of teachers, for different type of students, and for different type of dignity that are going to come in this place. And largely we're going to homogenize all the students who are going to be taking this type of an advantage, so that they're in a much better position to utilize this pattern. After having done it so, we're going to move to the next phase. The next phase will be going to be for the first year. Now take a look at it, that is, it is going to be all about communication and body language improvement. It is important because unless the students become cultured, unless they're going to become acceptable to themselves and also to the other people, and to make social capital, which we are going to be using the word as friend, their preparation will not go on to become easy. This will help them in interview. This type of skill they must go on to acquire, because that will go on to help them in interview, and also becoming favorite with the teachers, favorite with other people also as well in this case. We are going to be talking about the second requirement in this case, that is going to be language improvement. Without a language, they cannot go on to showcase themselves at all in any manner possible. And that is to express anything. Of course, it is going to be required in CSAT, in any other examination. There is the revision of the entire school books and its current dimensions. The students have to go through these school books because they may have gone through these school books, they may have studied that, but they may not have learned from these school books. Now at this level of time, when they go through these school books and they go on to start thinking of learning something out of it, that will go to spur them up completely, and that will go on to become a real eye-opener for the candidates themselves as well. So that is revision of the entire school books in this case, and that will go on to help them to prepare for preliminary examination of all the state services, like Maharashtra Public Service Commission as well, not to speak of the civil services. Then they will undergo through CSAT preparation as well in this case. And in the second year, as you can go on to take a look at it, the entire of the program is made by us. What is significant is you can go to take a look at it, and when we're going to be talking about, we are essentially talking about that in the second year they will go on to go through building on the strength that they have acquired. They will go to know how to study current affairs. They will come to know about how to build a base in this case. They will go to start mastering their prelims preparation. They start mastering all the PCS examination as well, and they will be in a position to appear for any examination thereafter. So a group of students go on to get themselves segregated in this manner. That is going to be another component associated with it. Now then you go on to pick up the third year part. In the third year we are going to be picking up GS mains preparation, practice for prelims examination, optional paper, GS mains revision. Now one can go on to think of why is it that this is going to be required for journalists and academicians. It is important because all the journalists, all the academicians, all the politicians who are aspiring politicians, they must at least once in lifetime, must go on to go through civil services preparation. Largely because when they go on to go through their civil services preparation, they go on to unruffle so many dimensions of their studies of their life that will go on to completely change their outlook for the whole of their life. The third year is going to be, that is the third year, second phase is going to be practice for it, and the third phase will go on to be start preparing for various types of examination. It is in this phase that the students will start moving here, there and everywhere to take stock of the skills that they have learned. Now, having gone through all of it, it is very, very prudent that we'll go on to test them once, and we have an online component that will keep on interacting with these type of students. And the more we going to interact, the more we going to spur them as also to do certain things. Even at a fag end, if they want to change the dimensions of the career, think about something else, that is going to be inbuilt mechanism. And this is largely because we have experienced this part, how exactly this can be done, and in what best manner is it that this can be done. Now, this is one of the ways in which we are able to provide security to the candidates who go on to be part of ASTRA. Of course, it goes on to secure college as well, it goes on to secure students as well, and if you do not mind that, it will go on to secure your department and education department and Maharashtra people also at the same time.